Hey guys, welcome back to Spread River Homestead on another Mailbag Monday. I'm Nikki, and this week I've got kind of a interesting question. So somebody had sent me an email and was inquiring about the area. They're looking at Klamath County, and they found some interesting information and wanted to know exactly how long is our growing season here and what zone are we considered? Okay, so here's why this question always gets me and why it's so interesting. If you look at the USDA maps, we are listed as Zone 6A. If you pull the information for Zone 6A, you find that temperature-wise, yeah, that's pretty close where we're at. But if you look at the last frost date and first frost date, that's not really going to be it, right? So when you go back in and you look at some other charts, we are listed as 5B. I've even seen us listed as 5A. So what are we and how do you figure this out? Well, I'm going to tell you that you've got to take, when you come to Klamath County, you have to take all of that information, put it in a big pile, and throw it away because none of it is accurate. For instance, the growing season is not the length of any of those. We probably hit closer to some of the like zone 4 in terms of growing length, but our temperatures are completely different than what you'll see in zone 4. So finding plants here can be really, really difficult. What I try and do with my berry plants is I shoot for stuff that will take at least a 30 below zero. And I know that's wild, but I have been 30 degree below zero here. Usually we're not going to get any more than 20 below. But if you go with 30, chances are pretty good that you're going to keep stuff alive. On the flip side of that, you've got to have stuff that's going to take heat that'll go all the way up to 110. I know last year, I think it was last year that we hit up to like 115, but that's kind of an exception, not the rule. Usually we're somewhere between the 1 and 110 mark. So you've got to have something that'll take a lot of cold and a lot of heat. So on the flip side of that, our growing season this year is not even going to be quite 75 days. I know, let that sink in. Not going to be 75 days long. The last freeze date that we had this year was like June 28th, I believe it was. And today is September 11th. And we are looking at our next freeze to be in about 3 days. So not quite going to be, it's going to be right on the borderline of 75 days. But that makes it really hard to grow things like some of your winter squash. Most of them need at least 85 all the way up to 110. Even Brussels sprouts need a little bit more freeze-free weather. And, the list of things that you can't grow outside in 75 days is really pretty long. So if you're going to move to Klamath and do some gardening, I highly recommend things like greenhouses, row covers, frost blankets, all that kind of stuff, because you will need them. We have I think I've been here 9 or 10 growing seasons now, and I think I've had one where I did not have a late freeze or a frost every single month of the summer. So it's pretty unusual to make it all the way even from mid-June to October. It's happened, but it's pretty unusual. So if you're considering a move here, you just have to know that none of those charts actually work, and make plans to be in a climate that is completely unpredictable. All right, so there you go. There is your answer to the question of the week. What zone are we in? 5, 6, 4. Take your pick. Doesn't really matter. Just be prepared for a cold winter, a hot summer, and a short frost-free growing season. So that is all for this week. If you have questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. If you have other questions you'd like me to answer on an upcoming Mailbag Monday, you can put them down in the comments. You can email them to me at srhomestead@yahoo.com. Instagram, Facebook, we're pretty much all over. And that is it for me. I'm going to go play with a kitten. Happy homesteading.